There are places on Earth so beautiful, they feel as if they belong to another world. Hidden in deep forests, behind misty mountains, or along untouched coastlines, these places preserve a purity that time has barely touched. Light, color, and landscape blend together to create scenes that make anyone stop and stare in silence. These wonders don't need to stand out. Their quiet beauty is enough to move the heart. Join us in exploring unseen wonders, the most beautiful natural places on Earth. A journey to the world's most breathtaking natural treasures rarely seen by human eyes. Zhangjiajie National Forest Park in China is a unique quartz sandstone karst landscape where thousands of stone pillars rise through mist and clouds. The spires reach up to 600 feet, shaped over millions of years by wind rain and thermal expansion. Beneath them lies a quartzite sandstone base, crystallized from ancient sediments, providing stability despite relentless weathering. The Chinese regard Zhangjiajie as a cultural emblem of endurance, symbolizing unity between mountain forest and humanity. The area was designated a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site in 1992 for its dense and extraordinary pillar formations. Zhangjiajie stands not merely as a forest, but as a living map of tectonic artistry where Earth continues sculpting itself. Salar de Uyuni is the largest salt flat on Earth, covering more than 4,000 square miles, formed from ancient lakes Minchin and Tauca over 30,000 years ago. Its average 30-foot thick salt crust lies above underground brine, containing 50 to 70% of the world's lithium reserves, vital for batteries. The white surface forms natural hexagonal patterns, reflecting sunlight and creating an infinite horizon between land and sky. The name Uyuni comes from the Aymara language meaning storage place, recalling its past as a stop for ancient traders. Indigenous Quechua and Aymara people have harvested salt for generations, using simple evaporation methods to produce pure crystals. Each year, the region yields over 25,000 tons of edible salt, preserving natural extraction and deep cultural tradition. The Danakil Depression in Ethiopia is one of Earth's lowest and harshest places, lying about 410 feet below sea level. It was formed by the divergence of the Nubian Somali and Arabian tectonic plates, causing the crust to collapse and fracture over time. Rising magma interacts with groundwater, producing acid lakes, sulfur springs, and salt crusts constantly boiling under pressure. Beneath the white salt crust lie potash and sulfur deposits formed through thousands of cycles of evaporation and crystallization. Geochemical surveys reveal multiple layers of rare minerals such as magnesium, bromine, and silica, offering insight into early planetary formation. The Danakil Depression marks the border between life and destruction, a testament to Earth's endurance in its most extreme form. Cappadocia is the most unusual volcanic plateau in Turkey, famous worldwide for thousands of cone-shaped rock towers rising over 130 feet. It lies across a dry highland of more than 1,900 square miles, where wind and time have carved a surreal, otherworldly landscape. The soft volcanic tuff allowed ancient people to carve homes, tunnels, and chambers deep into the rock using only their hands. Some underground cities once held over 2,000 inhabitants, with wells, ventilation shafts, and secret passages stretching for miles below. Cappadocia holds the world's highest density of underground cities, proving humanity's incredible ability to adapt and endure. Today, this vast plateau remains a natural stone palace, a timeless symbol between Earth's geology and human history. Lençóis Maranhenses National Park in Brazil is known as the only desert on Earth filled with thousands of freshwater lagoons between white dunes. The dune field covers over 600 square miles, shaped by alternating winds and rains, forming shallow basins that trap seasonal rainwater. Each lagoon shines turquoise, reaching depths of up to 10 feet, then disappears entirely when the dry season returns. Geologists confirmed the area was once an ancient seabed, with pure silica sand deposited over thousands of years. Some lagoons host temporary fish and algae carried by windborne eggs and spores, proving life's extraordinary ability to survive extremes. Lençóis Maranhenses stands as a frontier between illusion and reality, where water and sand move in perfect natural rhythm. Lake Hillier in Australia astonishes scientists with its permanent pink color that remains unchanged even when water is taken out. The surreal hue comes from halophilic bacteria and Dunaliella salina algae, producing carotenoid pigments in extremely salty conditions. Stretching about 2,000 feet, the lake sits beside the ocean, yet its waters never mix, forming a strange border between pink and blue. Non-toxic and safe to touch its waters represent one of the rarest biochemical phenomena on Earth. Scientists found that its salt concentration is several times higher than the Dead Sea, allowing only special microorganisms to survive. Today, Lake Hillier stands as a symbol of nature's defiance, where science and wonder merge in an unchanging shade of pink. Banawa rice terraces are an ancient agricultural masterpiece built by the Ifugao people over 2,000 years ago in mountains rising nearly 4,900 feet. The system spans more than 10,000 acres, forming one of the most enduring networks of mountain farming in Southeast Asia. Each terrace averages 3 to 5 feet high, supported by stones and compacted soil, aligned precisely without modern machines. Water flows from the cloud forests above through bamboo channels, operating naturally for centuries without any mechanical aid. The terraces create their own microclimate, allowing rice to grow steadily on steep terrain despite irregular rain patterns. This structure stands not only as a proof of ancient ingenuity, but as a living heritage of harmony between people and the land. Plitvice Lakes National Park in central Croatia is known for its chain of 16 terraced lakes connected by more than 90 natural waterfalls. The lakes formed through calcium carbonate deposition, creating travertine barriers that continue to grow over thousands of years. The water remains exceptionally clear as porous limestone filters minerals, maintaining its distinctive turquoise color. The region was once a vast, primeval forest, home to brown bears, lynx, and European wolves. Geological studies confirm that the Plitvice Lake system is still evolving, making it a rare living geomorphological laboratory. Recognized by UNESCO since 1979, Plitvice Lakes represent a prime example of Europe's karst landscape and natural heritage. Antelope Canyon in Arizona, United States, is a narrow sandstone gorge carved by flash floods over thousands of years. Its structure formed from Navajo sandstone, about 190 million years old, once part of ancient Jurassic sand dunes. Some sections measure only a few feet wide, yet reach depths of more than 120 feet, shaped by intense flood erosion. The Navajo people consider this area sacred, naming it Se Bighanilini, meaning the place where water runs through rock. Geologists have modeled the flow patterns to study erosion speed and slot canyon formation across the American Southwest. Today, Antelope Canyon is protected under the Navajo Nation, serving as a regulated site for geological research and ecotourism. The Faroe Islands are an isolated volcanic archipelago in the North Atlantic, where cold winds and wild waves sculpt a surreal landscape. The islands are made of 3 stacked basalt layers, marking millions of years of eruptions and subsidence of the ocean crust. Sheer cliffs, over 2,100 feet high, were shaped from lava 55 million years ago and carved deeply by ancient glaciers. More than 300 peaks form perfect triangular shapes, eroded by constant wind and rain, creating a sharp, balanced terrain. The entire energy system runs on wind and water, making the islands nearly self-sufficient in the middle of the ocean. Thick fog all year makes the scenery shift in color, turning this land into a symbol of supernatural northern beauty. Mount Bromo is Indonesia's most active volcano, formed within a vast ancient crater nearly 6 miles wide, creating a rare mountain within a mountain structure. Its crater measures about 2,300 feet across, constantly releasing white smoke from magma vents deep below. Rising around 7,600 feet, it stands out not for height, but for its brutal contrast of black ash, silver rock, and white steam. The name comes from Brahma, the Hindu god of creation, symbolizing the deep link between geology faith and ancient traditions. Surrounding it lies a black sand desert, covering over 4 square miles, forming one of Southeast Asia's rare volcanic wastelands. Sunrise here feels otherworldly as orange light pierces the mist and strikes the smoking silver slopes of the living volcano. Victoria Falls spans the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe, formed by the erosional power of the Zambezi River. The river cuts through basalt layers hundreds of feet thick, forming deep fracture systems that link into multiple narrow gorges. The falls average 355 feet in height and extend more than 5,600 feet across, making them Africa's largest waterfall. Geologists date the surrounding basalt to about 150 million years, while the main fault forming the falls is over 100,000 years old. The protected region supports over 400 animal species and hundreds of native plants within its riverine ecosystem. Victoria Falls is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, symbolizing Africa's geological power and fluvial evolution. Wadi Rum is a giant desert valley in Jordan, about 228 square miles, shaped by weathered sandstone and granite over long ages. Iron oxide gives the sand a red-orange tone, making the landscape look like another planet and unforgettable to visitors. The region forms a red-orange plateau, ringed by sandstone walls up to 8,500 feet, like natural stone ramparts around the basin. Dry air and dark skies with no light pollution make this one of the clearest places here to see the Milky Way. Over 25,000 rock carvings and 2,000 ancient inscriptions remain on stone, recording desert life and early language history. Many describe Wadi Rum as Mars on Earth, a landmark landscape proving strong scientific value and global significance. The cliffs of Moher in Ireland are among Europe's most dramatic sea cliffs, stretching nearly 9 miles along the Atlantic coast. The cliffs rise over 700 feet, formed more than 320 million years ago as ancient marine sediments compressed and uplifted by tectonic forces. Layers of sandstone shale and siltstone create a visible geological record preserving the deep history of County Clare. The ecosystem shelters more than 20 seabird species, including puffins, razorbills, and black-legged kittiwakes. Studies show that constant wind and humidity cause unique erosion cycles reshaping the rock faces with each passing century. The cliffs of Moher stand as a meeting point between ocean and continent, where time itself is carved into stone. Sun Dung Cave in Vietnam formed between 2 and 5 million years ago, when underground rivers dissolved massive limestone in an ancient karst system. Stretching over 5.5 miles with a ceiling nearly 650 feet high, it could fit a skyscraper underground. Natural light enters through giant sinkholes, feeding a hidden jungle and creating one of the rarest isolated ecosystems on Earth. Local people discovered the cave in 1991, and its true scale was confirmed by British explorers in 2009. The name Sondung means Great Mountain River, symbolizing the union between flowing water and ancient stone. With a total volume exceeding 38 million cubic meters, Sondung stands as living proof of Earth's power and evolution. Trolltunga is Norway's untouched tongue of rock, standing about 3,600 feet high and extending more than 2,300 feet above an ancient glacial cliff. The ledge formed over 10,000 years ago when glaciers retreated and layers of ancient gneiss were carved by wind and ice. With its slim, flat, and horizontal form, the rock looks like a giant tongue stretching into the air, defying both gravity and time. The flat, exposed surface gives anyone standing there a feeling of floating among clouds, wind, and the deep void below. A few rare lichens and moss species survive only on Trolltunga's surface, found nowhere else on nearby mountains. Trolltunga stands as a natural symbol of Northern Europe, proof of glacial power and the surreal beauty of Earth itself. Lake Bled lies in northwestern Slovenia, formed within an ancient glacial basin shaped by the Julian Alps. The lake spans over 350 acres, fed by underground springs flowing through limestone and old glacial sediments. Its basin is asymmetrical, reaching depths of 97 feet, reflecting uneven melting during the late Pleistocene period. Surrounding areas were uplifted by alpine tectonic forces, creating limestone ridges along the outer rim of the basin. Researchers confirm that mineral deposition continues maintaining long-term geomorphological stability across the lake system. Lake Bled functions as a protected geological reserve of Slovenia, representing both glacial heritage and continental tectonic evolution in Europe. Vatnajökull National Park is the largest national park in Europe, covering over 5,300 square miles, where ice and fire coexist in extreme contrast. Beneath more than 3,000 feet of ice, dozens of volcanoes simmer, creating a strange balance between heat and freezing cold. The name Vatnajökull means the glacier of lakes, symbolizing the deep connection between ice stream and geothermal energy below the surface. The landscape constantly shifts with glaciers, meltwater lakes, ancient lava, and frozen plateaus, forming a raw and untamed world. Scientists have discovered bacteria surviving at -4 degrees Fahrenheit, offering clues to possible life beyond Earth. It is the only place in Europe where one can stand on ice while a volcano still breathes beneath the surface. Multnomah Falls lies in the state of Oregon, United States, formed as a two-tier natural waterfall within the Columbia River Gorge over 15,000 years ago. Its water originates from underground springs atop Larch Mountain, flowing over ancient basalt created by volcanic activity during the Cascade eruptions. The falls reach a total height of about 620 feet, ranking among the highest waterfalls in the Pacific Northwest. Geologists confirm that the area was once carved by glacial floods, leaving steep basalt cliffs and deep sediment layers. Water flow varies with rainfall and snowmelt, yet continues year-round, even through dry periods. Multnomah Falls functions as a protected natural reserve of Oregon, illustrating the connection between volcanoes, glaciers, and temperate forest ecosystems. Napali Coast is a volcanic shoreline on Kauai, Hawaii, formed from basaltic lava and millions of years of marine erosion. Cliffs rising over 4,000 feet were produced as lava, cooled rapidly, then was cut deeply by ancient rivers and rainfall. The rock layers preserve more than 5 million years of volcanic activity, revealing the geological evolution of the Hawaiian Islands. Many areas can be reached only by sea due to steep slopes and coastal landslides. The region supports numerous endemic plants and bird species adapted to hot, dry winds and rugged terrain. Napali Coast stands as a natural heritage of Hawaii, representing the combined power of volcano, ocean, and geological time. The Dolomites stretch across northern Italy, distinguished by pale carbonate rocks and sharply fractured formations. These mountains were created from ancient coral reefs of the Tethys Sea about 250 million years ago, later uplifted by alpine tectonics. Several peaks rise beyond 10,000 feet, with Marmolada remaining the highest and hosting the region's last major glacier. During World War I, tunnels and shelters were carved through the cliffs, serving as human lifelines in extreme alpine conditions. Scientists have discovered marine fossils embedded in the limestone layers, proving Earth's environmental shifts across geological eras. Today, the Dolomites stand as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, symbolizing geological history, natural beauty, and cultural endurance within the Alps. Railay Beach in Krabi, Thailand, is a secluded peninsula surrounded by towering limestone cliffs and the Andaman Sea. The region formed from ancient marine sediments over 200 million years ago, later uplifted by tectonic movement and erosion. Cliffs exceeding 300 feet contain caves, stalactites, and fossilized coral remains dating back to the Triassic period. Locals consider the area sacred, once performing sea rituals to ensure safety and prosperity for fishermen. Geologists have identified dolomite minerals within the rock layers, explaining its slow erosion and pale coloration. Railay Beach serves as a protected geological and tourism site representing Thailand's unique tropical coastal heritage. Arches National Park in Utah, United States, containing more than 2,000 natural stone arches shaped by millions of years of sandstone erosion. The formations come from Entrada and Navajo sandstone deposited about 150 million years ago in an ancient desert environment. Tectonic stress and temperature changes fractured the rock, allowing wind and water to slowly carve thousands of unique arches. Some arches span over 300 feet, proving the exceptional strength and stability of dry sandstone formations. Geologists regard arches as a natural laboratory where new structures still form and collapse through ongoing erosion. Arches National Park stands as a global geological heritage site, representing the natural evolution of the American Southwest Desert. Grand Teton National Park sits in Wyoming, United States, formed by tectonic faulting between continental crustal blocks of North America. The mountains were uplifted about 9 million years ago, creating the Teton Peaks, rising over 13,700 feet, and the deep Jackson Hole Valley below. Rock layers in the park date back more than 2.5 billion years, among the oldest exposed formations in North America. Ancient glaciers carved the slopes, leaving U-shaped valleys and glacial lakes as evidence of the Pleistocene era. The ecosystem includes spruce forests, alpine meadows, and the Snake River, supporting over 300 wildlife species. Grand Teton National Park functions as a major U.S. reserve representing geological uplift and biodiversity of the Rocky Mountains. The Raja Ampat Islands lie off western Papua, Indonesia, consisting of more than 1,500 small limestone islands and ancient coral reefs. The region was formed by tectonic uplift at the junction between the Pacific and Indian Oceans. Raja Ampat holds the highest marine biodiversity on Earth, with over 500 coral species and 1,400 fish species. Local communities maintain traditional fishing combined with rituals honoring the natural balance of marine life. Studies confirm that over 75% of the world's hard coral species are found within this area. Raja Ampat stands as one of Indonesia's key marine reserves, representing both biological and geological global significance. The Sahara is the largest hot desert on Earth, covering more than 3.6 million square miles across 11 North African countries. Beneath its vast sands lies the Nubian Sandstone Aquifer, one of the planet's largest underground freshwater systems. Over 10,000 years ago, the Sahara was a green savanna filled with rivers, lakes, and human settlements before the climate shifted. Some dunes rise over the 600 feet, while the Riche structure in Mauritania stands as a rare geological formation of Earth. Each year, Sahara wines carry hundreds of millions of tons of dust across the Atlantic, feeding the distant Amazon rainforest. The Sahara remains both a symbol of harshness and a reminder of the planet's constant power to transform. Kwangsai Falls is the largest three-tier waterfall in Laos, where limestone and minerals create unreal turquoise waters. The main drop plunges about 200 feet over white cliffs, forming natural pools that mirror the tropical forest light. The water is rich in calcium carbonate, coating the rocks in white layers and keeping the color bright through any weather. Around it lies dense rainforest, where mist and sunlight merge, creating an ethereal scene like a living myth. The dry season reveals the clearest flow when visitors can swim in turquoise basins and feel complete stillness in nature. Since 1975, the area has been protected to preserve its water sources, ecosystem, and rare tropical biodiversity. Sedona in the United States is a red sandstone plateau formed from ancient marine sediments more than 250 million years ago. The area's deep red color comes from iron oxidation that turned its rocks into a natural geological archive over time. Stratified layers record an unbroken sequence from the Permian to the Triassic periods, revealing the region's tectonic evolution. Locals regard Sedona as a symbol of endurance, where humanity confronts its limits before the permanence of nature's structures. Vast canyons and domes were carved by the wind rain and temperature shifts, acting relentlessly over millions of years. Sedona is where geology and time move in one rhythm, where Earth engraves its own evolutionary memory in stone. Atacama is the driest place on Earth, with regions that haven't seen rain for over 500 years, far drier than the Sahara. Average rainfall is only about 0.04 inches per year, and humidity is nearly zero, making it a true natural dead zone. Some areas have become natural graveyards for vehicles and scientific machines, abandoned under extreme weather beyond human endurance. The landscape glows in shades of red-orange and silver, formed by oxidized minerals over millions of years, resembling the surface of Mars. Beneath the salt crust, scientists found microbes living several feet underground, surviving on tiny traces of ocean moisture. Atacama is seen as the ultimate symbol of silence, where time, light, and life seem to stop in eternal stillness. Tsingy de Bemaraha National Park in Madagascar is a geological wonder distinguished by razor-sharp limestone forests stretching for hundreds of miles. This formation took millions of years as rainwater dissolved ancient limestone and underground rivers carved the dense stone spires. Some pinnacles rise over 200 feet, forming a vast natural labyrinth, nearly inaccessible to any normal transport. The name Tsingy in the Malagasy language means the place where one cannot walk barefoot, describing the terrain's sharp danger. The region shelters hundreds of endemic species, including lemurs, bats, and insects found nowhere else on Earth. Tsingy de Bemaraha stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, symbolizing Earth's power of erosion isolation and renewal. Socotra Island of Yemen is considered the most isolated place on Earth, where evolution created a biosphere unlike anywhere else. Nearly 90% of its flora and fauna are endemic species that have evolved for millions of years in isolation. Its iconic dragon's blood tree with umbrella-shaped canopy releases red resin, once believed to be the blood of gods. The island's geology formed from ancient sedimentary rocks uplifted by African tectonic movement, shaping rugged terrain and untouched shores. Recent geological surveys reveal Socotra was once part of the supercontinent Gondwana before drifting into the Arabian Sea. Socotra stands as living evidence of isolated evolution, preserving Earth's primitive blueprint of life from millions of years ago. Palau Islands are a pristine coral paradise in the Pacific, formed by more than 340 islands over millions of years. The surrounding sea is so clear, you can see the bottom at over 200 feet, where light passes through glowing corals. Its ecosystem hosts more than 1,300 fish species and 700 types of coral, forming a true center of life. Palau became the first nation to ban chemical sunscreens, protecting its reefs from the impact of modern tourism. Among hundreds of limestone islands, the water shifts from turquoise to deep blue and violet within a single bay. Standing in Palau, one feels pure harmony, where ocean and life exist as one eternal force. Whitehaven Beach appears as a surreal ribbon of sand where sunlight, water, and silica blend into a world of luminous white. Its sand contains up to 99% pure silica, fine as powder, and never retains heat, even under the midday sun. The shoreline stretches over 4 miles, constantly reshaped by tides that swirl patterns of color across the surface. The beach is a protected marine reserve, strictly banning sand collection, camping, or any resource extraction to preserve its purity. The crystal-clear water reveals every layer of sand below, shifting from pale blue to turquoise with the angle of sunlight. With near-perfect purity, its sand was once tested by NASA as material to simulate the lunar surface. Iguazu Falls is the largest waterfall system on Earth, with about 275 cascades stretching nearly 2 miles in a giant horseshoe shape. Each second, it pours nearly 450,000 cubic feet of water, strong enough to shake the ground and create heavy mist. The falls average between 200 and 270 feet in height, forming endless layers of roaring water. Its overall shape resembles a colossal horseshoe, where torrents crash down from 3 sides in a thunderous roar. The site has served as a natural field for research on rainforest humidity and geological erosion under extreme moisture. Standing before Iguazu Falls, one feels the overwhelming power of nature and the deep humility of human scale. Los Glaciares National Park is Argentina's greatest frozen wonder, stretching over 2,800 square miles along the southern Andes. About 30% of its surface is covered by eternal ice, forming South America's largest connected glacier system. The ice here continues to grow rather than melt, a rare phenomenon amid global climate change. Some layers reach nearly 200 feet thick, holding ancient cores averaging more than 400 years old. In the 19th century, European explorers recorded this area as a zone of powerful seasonal glacier movements. Established in 1937 and later declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1981, it stands as a timeless monument of ice. Lake Baikal is the oldest and deepest freshwater body on Earth, formed over 25 million years ago within a still active tectonic rift. It holds nearly 23% of all unfrozen freshwater on the planet, reaching depths beyond 5,380 feet. The water is so clear that one can see the bottom more than 130 feet below, reflecting sky and surrounding Siberian mountains. Stretching over 395 miles and about 49 miles wide, it appears as a massive water-filled fracture across the frozen continent. It is the only place on Earth where freshwater seals live together with thousands of species that evolved nowhere else. With its ancient age, purity, and unmatched biodiversity, Baikal stands as a global symbol of pristine and enduring nature. Jiuzhaigou Valley is a highland canyon where water rock and minerals form a surreal network of crystal-clear turquoise lakes. The area spans over 28 square miles, rising from about 6,500 to nearly 16,000 feet in elevation. The lakes are so pure that fallen ancient trees remain visible on the bottom, perfectly preserved for centuries. The water changes color through the day, shifting from blue to emerald, depending on sunlight and minerals dissolved in limestone. Its ecosystem is one of the few where pandas, golden snub-nosed monkeys, and forest deer coexist under the same climatic zone. Recognized by UNESCO in 1992, it stands as a global symbol of pristine and enduring natural harmony. Mount Roraima is an ancient table mountain between Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana, marked by a vast, flat summit and cliffs over 3,200 feet high. Formed more than 2 billion years ago, its sandstone belongs to one of Earth's oldest crusts, once resting beneath the Tethys Ocean. Rain falls year-round on acidic barren soil, yet over 30% of the species here exist nowhere else on the planet. Geologists call it a natural laboratory of wind and time, where sandstone erodes into pillars, arches, and deep fissures. Along its western edge, dozens of white waterfalls plunge more than 2,000 feet into the rainforest below, creating a constant veil of mist. With its dry, acidic surface and harsh radiation, Mount Roraima was used by NASA to model Martian conditions, symbolizing the bridge between Earth and the cosmos. The Swiss Alps in Switzerland are Europe's young mountain range, formed by the collision of the African and Eurasian plates millions of years ago. Stretching over 750 miles with hundreds of peaks above 13,000 feet, they divide the continent's climate and terrain. Layers of metamorphic rock, including shale granite and dolomite, form a geological wall, recording Earth's powerful tectonic evolution. Ancient glacial valleys and remaining glaciers act as vast, freshwater reservoirs for Central Europe. The Swiss people regard the Alps as a symbol of endurance and identity, where humanity learned to coexist with extremes. The Swiss Alps stand as Earth's geological memory, preserving the traces of its own creation. Blue Ridge Parkway stretches over 469 miles, connecting Great Smoky Mountains and Shenandoah National Parks in the eastern United States. The route follows the Appalachian Range, a remnant of the ancient Grenville Mountains, formed over 1.1 billion years ago from the collision of Rodinia. Elevations between 3,000 and 6,000 feet create dramatic terrain shifts within just a few miles, producing sharply layered landscapes. Along the way, more than 200 geological overlooks expose ancient strata and reveal the Earth's curvature on clear days. Blue Ridge Parkway is regarded as America's longest outdoor museum, preserving records of geology, biology, and the evolution of natural landscapes. Mount Kilimanjaro is a massive volcano in Tanzania, where eternal snow survives right within the tropical zone near the equator. Rising about 19,340 feet, it is the tallest point in Africa and the largest freestanding mountain on Earth. On a single slope, climbers can experience 4 seasons in one day, from humid rainforest to freezing alpine ice. In 1973, the area was declared a national park to protect its ecosystem and the freshwater resources feeding the lowlands. Over 85% of its ice cover has vanished since the early 20th century, revealing the accelerating pace of global warming. Each year, more than 30,000 people from around the world attempt to reach Uhuru Peak, a living symbol of human freedom and endurance. El Nido is a rare tropical limestone region on Earth formed from ancient karst, over 250 million years eroded by the sea. Its waters reach clarity beyond 130 feet, ranking among the purest ocean zones ever recorded. Surrounding coral reefs hold one of the planet's richest biodiversities, with more than 850 fish and 400 coral species. The area includes over 45 limestone islands and bays shaped by tectonic uplift and erosion through millions of years. Many cliffs preserve coral fossils nearly 200 feet above sea level, recording sea level changes since ancient ice ages. El Nido is considered one of the 10 most pristine marine regions on Earth, where nature retains its original structure after millions of years of evolution. Fly Geyser is one of America's strangest geothermal wonders, accidentally formed after a failed drilling attempt in 1964 within the dry desert. Hot water filled with silica, calcium carbonate, and minerals keeps erupting, building layered terraces of crystal formations around the main vent. Thermophilic bacteria in the hot water paint its surface red, orange, and green, creating surreal colors across the mineral walls. Constant steam rises around it, forming a hazy mist that makes the geyser appear alive, breathing in the heart of the desert. Today, Fly Geyser stands as a symbol of human error, merged with nature's boundless creativity, truly one of a kind on Earth. The Bay of Kotor in Montenegro was carved by an ancient glacier, cutting deep into limestone mountains, forming the only Mediterranean fjord. Surrounding peaks rise above 3,000 feet, enclosing the bay like a sunken valley where land and sea shape each other. Salt water extends over 15 miles inland, blending with underground freshwater springs, creating a rare marine river system in this region. Multiple underground caverns of calcium carbonate continue expanding, recording the constant dissolution of limestone beneath the bay. Archaeologists uncovered remains of Roman harbors along the coast, proving humans exploited this natural formation over 2 millennia ago. The Bay of Kotor stands as a junction of geology and civilization, a lasting testament to nature's adaptability and human endurance. Ha Long Bay is Vietnam's most magnificent natural heritage, where more than 1,600 limestone towers rise from emerald seawater. These islands formed over 340 million years ago as rising seas and karst erosion carved immense pillars, arches, and stone peaks. The limestone layer reaches 3,300 feet thick, preserving traces of the ancient Tethys Ocean and Earth's early geological history. Some pillars eroded so deeply that their bases span only a few feet, while their heights exceed 100 feet above calm water. Vertical cliffs and shifting mist divide the seascape into a maze of light and shadow, both real and dreamlike. With unmatched geological aesthetic and cultural value, Halong Bay stands as a global symbol of Earth's natural beauty. Lake Tahoe is located between California and Nevada, United States, ranking as the highest large freshwater lake and the second deepest in North America. It formed over 2 million years ago through tectonic faulting combined with volcanic activity, creating a deep, stable basin. The lake reaches a maximum depth of about 1,645 feet, holding over 39 trillion gallons of fresh water. Ongoing Sierra Nevada tectonics cause the eastern shore to rise, while the western side gradually subsides. Sediment studies show that Lake Tahoe experienced multiple glacial and interglacial cycles, revealing climate shifts over hundreds of thousands of years. Lake Tahoe serves as a key geological landmark of the United States, representing the interaction of tectonics, volcanism, and ancient freshwater systems. The Amalfi Coast, in southern Italy, along the Tyrrhenian Sea, formed by tectonic uplift and continuous marine erosion. Its terrain consists of limestone ridges and narrow valleys created by the collision between the African and Eurasian plates millions of years ago. Sheer cliffs, rising over 1,600 feet, were shaped by crustal subsidence and the persistent action of sea waves and wind. The region hosts Mediterranean vegetation, including olive trees, citrus groves, and maritime pines growing naturally on limestone slopes. Geologists confirm that the Amalfi bedrock once belonged to the ancient Tethys Ocean, still containing marine fossil remains. The Amalfi Coast is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, representing the union of geology, climate, and ecosystems of southern Europe. The Lofoten Islands in Norway are ancient granite mountains formed by the uplift of Earth's crust over 3 billion years ago. Towering peaks rise abruptly from the Norwegian sea remnants of the Caledonian orogeny that once joined Europe and Greenland. The granite and gneiss contain feldspar and mica crystals compressed under immense pressure and temperature deep within Earth's mantle. Narrow fjords carved by ancient glaciers cut through the rock, leaving curved traces of vanished ice rivers. Geomagnetic data reveal the Lofoten bedrock slowly drifting eastward, reflecting the ongoing motion of the Eurasian plate. The Lofoten Islands expose Earth's primal architecture, where stone, ice, and ocean preserve the memory of the planet's origin. Okavango Delta in Botswana is the world's largest inland delta, formed where the Okavango River dissolves into the sands of the Kalahari Desert. Water from the Angolan highlands travels over 1,000 miles before splitting into thousands of channels, swamps, and temporary lagoons. Ancient alluvial soil, rich in minerals and silica deposits, allows this region to retain water in a semi-arid environment. The river branches weave around natural islands built from sediment accumulation and constant shifts of silt and sand. Local communities regard Okavango as a symbol of coexistence between humanity and water, where survival depends on the river's pulse. Okavango Delta redefines the idea of a river as it never reaches the sea but becomes an inland ocean of life. Koh Tao in Thailand is a small island in the Gulf of Thailand, known for its coral ecosystems and granite landscape shaped by millions of years of tectonic activity. Its coast is lined with rounded boulders sculpted by wind and waves, forming a natural shoreline unlike any other in the region. Beneath the surface lies a coral field covering hundreds of acres, home to over 130 fish species and endemic marine life. Serengeti National Park lies in northern Tanzania, covering over 5,700 square miles, one of Earth's oldest and most stable plains. Its geology was formed by volcanic ash from Ngorongoro and ancient sediments, creating a basaltic layer rich in minerals. The name Serengeti comes from the Maasai word Siringet, meaning endless land, describing its flat terrain stretching to the horizon. Each year, the region hosts the planet's greatest migration, as millions of animals travel more than 500 miles across the open plains. Ancient underground rivers still flow beneath the basalt, providing a constant water source within the harsh, dry climate. Serengeti stands as Earth's evolutionary origin, where geology, climate, and life coexist in an ancient state of balance. Torres del Paine National Park in Chile is one of South America's youngest and most dynamic geological regions, where ice rock and wind shape the land. Beneath the granite towers rising nearly 9,000 feet, fossilized formed by solidified evidence magma, of the warm climate sculpted by that existed here millions of years ago. This region unites glacier steppes and turquoise glacial lakes, forming one of Patagonia's richest ecosystems. Temperatures shift constantly, and winds reach 70 miles per hour, creating a harsh yet thriving environment. The park hosts over 100 species, including the elusive puma and the rare Andean condor. Torres del Paine stands as proof of Earth's tectonic power and the untamed beauty that time could never conquer. Milford Sound is a majestic fjord shaped during the last ice age, where ancient glaciers carved a massive U-shaped valley. When the ice melted, seawater flooded in, leaving vertical cliffs rising over 3,900 feet around dark, reflective waters. This region receives about 270 inches of rain each year, creating hundreds of waterfalls cascading down the cliffs after every storm. Inside the fjord, the sea splits into two layers, with fresh, cloudy water above and deep salt water below, rich in strange life. Milford Sound stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, symbolizing Earth's raw power and timeless natural legacy. Ngorongoro crater in Tanzania is a massive volcanic collapse formed over 2 million years ago, regarded as one of Earth's most flawless natural structures. The crater spans more than 12 miles wide and nearly 2,000 feet deep, remaining one of the most intact calderas on the planet. Fertile soil from volcanic ash sustains a self-contained plain where life has endured for thousands of years. Ancient geological layers and hidden aquifers form a closed cycle, constantly regenerating within isolated conditions. Local communities view this region as a shared space between nature and humanity, symbolizing lasting coexistence between two realms. Ngorongoro crater stands as proof of Earth's eternal renewal, where destruction itself becomes the origin of life. The Algarve coast in southern Portugal is a limestone shoreline carved by wind and waves over millions of years, forming cliffs and hidden caves. Sedimentary layers from the Jurassic era contain coral and marine fossils, preserving the ancient geological record of the Atlantic. Powerful ocean currents strike the soft limestone, creating thousands of arches, pillars, and asymmetric sea stacks along the coast. The largest cave systems lie near Lagos and Benagil, where caverns continue expanding through carbonate dissolution. Submarine sinkholes frequently occur here, proving that geological activity remains active beneath the shallow coastal waters. The Algarve coast reveals the combined power of sea and time, where Earth endlessly redraws the frontier between land and ocean. Tongariro is the oldest national park in New Zealand, founded in 1887, marking the birth of the nation's conservation system. Layers of lava ash and ancient rock allow scientists to trace an eruption history spanning more than 275,000 years. Its ecosystem ranges from temperate rainforest to icy mountain zones, containing nearly all North Island climates within one area. It became the world's first dual UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized for both natural beauty and the sacred culture of the Maori people. Over 50 volcanic craters and steam vents still pulse quietly, forming a hidden network of sleeping fire beneath the ground. With its wild beauty and spiritual meaning, Tongariro stands as a global symbol of harmony between humanity and the earth. Lake Nakuru is the most famous enclosed soda lake in Kenya, located about 5,755 feet above sea level within the ancient Rift Valley. Its highly alkaline water, rich in minerals, creates the perfect habitat for the greener algae and attracts millions of flamingos each year. The lake averages about 1 foot deep, but can rise to 6 feet in the rainy season, changing both color and size constantly. Over 25,000 ancient carvings found nearby show it was once a spiritual and cultural center for early native people. At certain times, more than 1 million flamingos gather, forming a living pink carpet across the shimmering surface. Lake Nakuru stands as Africa's ecological symbol, where beauty, life, and balance merge into one perfect harmony. Palau Islands are a unique coral and limestone archipelago in the Pacific, made of over 340 islands uplifted from ancient coral reefs. The entire nation covers about 68 square miles of land, but protects 232,000 square miles of ocean, among the largest marine reserves on Earth. Its water clarity exceeds 70 feet, reflecting turquoise and emerald tones that form one of the planet's purest marine systems. The most striking feature is hundreds of mushroom-shaped limestone islands rising from blue seas unlike anywhere else on Earth. The reefs host over 385 coral species and 1,100 fish species, representing an ideal example of biological balance. Palau was once studied by NASA as a model of a sustainable living planet where humans and nature coexist in a closed cycle. Lake Atitlan is the deepest volcanic lake in Central America, reaching about 1,115 feet within a massive ancient volcanic caldera. The lake was formed after the Los Chacacayas supervolcano eruption around 79,500 years ago, creating a huge basin filled by rain and natural springs. Three towering volcanoes rise around it, shaping a perfect symmetrical landscape rarely found in nature. At its bottom, scientists discovered ruins of an ancient city submerged about 55 feet deep, proving the lake once receded long ago. The lake has experienced toxic cyanobacteria blooms in 2009 and 2015, showing the fragility of its closed volcanic ecosystem. Lake Atitlan stands as a geological and cultural symbol of Guatemala, a testament to Earth's creative power and surreal beauty. Bazaruto rises within the Indian Ocean as a living sand chain shaped by wind and ocean currents over thousands of years. A near-shore coral reef stretches more than 20 miles, forming an underwater maze of brilliant, hard and soft corals. Towering dunes over 100 feet high reveal panoramic views of the surrounding ocean, stretching for dozens of miles. Beneath turquoise waters, layered reefs create a sea of shifting light and temperature that changes throughout the day. Its ecosystem holds over 2,000 marine species, from pygmy seahorses and giant sponges to leatherback turtles and enormous rays. With its ancient geology, surreal scenery, and abundant life, Bazaruto stands as a natural treasure of the modern Indian Ocean. Kamchatka Peninsula is one of the most volcanically active regions on Earth, with over 300 volcanoes, 30 still alive today. The peninsula stretches about 780 miles between the Pacific Ocean and the Sea of Okhotsk, completely isolated from mainland Russia. During the Soviet era, it was a top-secret military zone, closed to outsiders for several decades. The landscape blends snow, lava, ash taiga, and tundra, forming a raw and colorful world of fire and ice. Kamchatka holds the highest population of wild brown bears in Asia, often seen hunting fish in steaming rivers. With no railways or highways linking it to the continent, Kamchatka remains a pure frontier, untouched by time. Sumidero Canyon is a massive gorge in Mexico, famous for its vertical walls rising nearly 3,300 feet above the river's surface. It was formed about 35 million years ago, when tectonic uplift and the Grijalva River carved through ancient limestone layers. The cliffs are almost vertical, creating one of the narrowest and deepest canyons where sunlight barely reaches the base. During the rainy season, waterfalls hundreds of feet high drop straight into the river, forming hanging curtains of mist. At times, the water rises more than 160 feet, sealing the gorge completely and turning it into a vast flooded chasm. It stands as a monumental symbol of Mexico's geology and nature, embodying the timeless power of the earth itself. Svalbard is the northernmost inhabited land on Earth, about 500 miles from the pole, where light and darkness trade places each season. Over 60% of its surface is covered by permafrost, with glaciers and frozen fjords shaping surreal Arctic landscapes. It is a land where polar bears outnumber humans, and law requires people to carry guns for safety outside settlements. When auroras appear, their light reflects across drifting ice, creating a double sky that looks almost alien. Deep inside its icy mountains lies the global seed vault, protecting more than 1 million plant samples for humanity's future. Despite the extreme cold, Svalbard enforces the strictest environmental laws on Earth, banning all forms of waste or pollution. The Great Barrier Reef is the largest living structure on Earth, stretching more than 1,430 miles off the coast of Australia. The system includes over 2,900 reefs and 900 coral islands, forming an underwater metropolis visible from space. It shelters more than 9,000 marine species, including 600 types of coral, countless fish, mollusks, and marine mammals. Many organisms here emit bioluminescent light, glowing softly at night, turning the ocean into a living field of blue radiance. Some fish, like the Napoleon wrasse, can naturally change gender, a rare adaptation, proving the system's biological resilience. With its vast-scale biodiversity and global significance, the Great Barrier Reef stands as a lasting symbol of life on Earth. Patagonia is the southernmost land of South America, where ice mountains and wind create a vast, wild, and contrasting world. The region stretches over 400,000 square miles, divided clearly between the cold, humid Andes and the dry, windy plains. The name Patagonia comes from the old Spanish word Patagon, meaning big-footed, given by 16th century explorers to native inhabitants. Winds blow almost all year, often exceeding 50 miles per hour, strong enough to bend trees and erode the soil. The ozone layer above this region was once among the thinnest on Earth, making it a key site for atmospheric research. With its raw beauty, vast scale, and extreme conditions, Patagonia stands as the final frontier between human endurance and nature's power. Simien Mountains are Ethiopia's ancient highlands, where vertical basalt cliffs nearly 5,000 feet high form one of Africa's grandest landscapes. The range was created from lava flows over 25 million years ago, later eroded into sharp, jagged formations. The harsh mountain climate drops nighttime temperatures close to 30 degrees Celsius, even though it lies near the equator. It is the only place on Earth home to the Gallarlada monkey, a grass-eating primate marked by a red heart-shaped patch on its chest. Simien Mountains are known as the Grand Canyon of Africa, a testament to geological power and the planet's untouched beauty. Fiordland National Park is one of the planet's most untouched glacial landscapes, where ancient ice carved deep into granite mountains over millions of years. Sheer cliffs rising nearly 4,900 feet form narrow fjords reflecting clouds, forests, and silent waters. Each fjord holds two distinct layers, a dark freshwater surface lying above a clear saltwater depth. More than 280 inches of annual rainfall create hundreds of waterfalls dropping straight from cliffs into the sea. Its temperate rainforest shelters flightless birds and rare deep-water corals within an ecosystem that has remained unchanged for ages. Fiordland stands as a living geological museum, where nature preserves the complete memory of Earth's glacial past. Tsitsikama National Park is where forest and ocean unite, known as the place where clear waters begin. The park stretches nearly 50 miles along the Indian Ocean, where waves crash against high cliffs and deep green valleys. It is one of Africa's first marine reserves, protecting over 70 square miles of untouched ocean wilderness. Centuries-old yellowwood trees rise more than 130 feet, forming a dense canopy, sheltering the forest life below. Visitors can walk through primeval forest, hearing ocean waves and bird songs blending into a boundless natural harmony. Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado, United States, contains the tallest sand dunes in North America, reaching heights over 750 feet. The dunes were formed through a combination of Wind River sediment and natural barriers from the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. Continuous sand movement creates a rare dynamic landform within an otherwise arid environment. The area was once home to the Ute and Apache peoples who regarded the dunes as sacred due to the underground water source. Studies show that most of the sand originated from the Rio Grande River and the ancient dried San Luis Lake. Great Sand Dunes stands as a U.S. national park representing the inland desert formation process unique to North America.